Hi everyone, welcome back to Mountain Shadows. I'm here with Aengus. I am here with him today because we had a bit of a scare with him recently, and I wanted to give you guys all an update on what's going on with Aengus. Well, what happened was that we grained him. He was perfectly fine, walking around, doing great, and then when we went to turn him out just 1 hour later, literally just 1 hour, he came up very lame on his right front hoof, and he did not want to walk on it or anything. His right front leg up to the knee was swollen. It wasn't super on fire hot, but it was a little bit warmer than the other front leg when we checked, and we have no idea what could have caused this lameness. So we checked his the fencing in his pasture that he was in. There were no signs that he had maybe rolled or casted himself. There was no damage to any of the fences, that he had gotten himself caught and injured his leg that way. There's no sign of anything. He just came up lame. It just happened. So the first thing that we did when we saw that he had a swollen leg that was hot was to immediately cold hose it. That's one of the first things that you can do to help bring down heat in a swollen area. And while we were doing that, we called 2 veterinary professionals. And we tried to talk them through the best as we could, since it was after hours at this point and we didn't want to trailer him with such a lame leg. They couldn't come out to us because it was after hours, but the consensus between both of them was to keep cold hosing it, ice it. We had an ice pack that we put on him, and try to keep the temperature down. And we also put him on painkillers just to, help relieve his pain while we're trying to figure out what it is that he was experiencing. And they just wanted us to keep an eye on it, see if there was any change in the next morning. Maybe it was just he stepped on his clubbed foot a little weird. That right front is his clubbed foot. He came to us like that. So maybe he just knocked it a little weird and it's already fragile to begin with. So we just needed to keep an eye on it, and come morning we would decide what to do next. So that's where we're at right now. He's on stall rest, trying to keep his movement down to a minimum. And Rio's out here as well, so he has a buddy. Welcome to your new digs, dude. Yeah. Your buddy Rio. We're gonna see how he looks and go from there. Oh, not on that foot. So Aengus did not get better, unfortunately. His leg, the swelling had gone down, the heat seemed to have gone down, so the cold hosing and the ice pack seemed to have worked, but he was still lame on that leg. He still didn't want to put pressure on it, and he was tripoding at times as well. So we called our vet. We were able to get him in as soon as we could. They were very accommodating, and we're so lucky to have such great vets here to work with. But they squeezed us in last minute, so we loaded him and his buddy Rio up in the trailer to be his emotional support buddy and packed him up to the vet, and we are dropping them off. So when it was time for our appointment, they walked Aengus over to the examination area and did some visual and palpatory exams first. They picked out his hoof to examine it and were able to determine that his pain was definitely located to his hoof specifically. So because of this, the vet told us she suspected an abscess, which none of us, the vets included, had considered before because his pain had come on so quickly. So they took some x-rays of his hoof, both to see if there was an abscess and also to rule out a broken coffin bone, which is one of the bones inside a horse's hoof. And that was unlikely, but just check all your bases, make sure everything's good. And yeah, there was an abscess. But honestly, we were kind of relieved it wasn't something even worse. So they soaked his hoof in an Epsom salt bath, and then the vet got to scraping out his hoof with a hoof knife to try to pinpoint an entry point. There weren't any geysers of abscess fluid that spouted out, luckily for her clothing, but the vet didn't want to dig too deep either, so she just kept scraping and testing until, enough had been chipped away. And then she taught us how to pack his hoof. So the white pad she used there is medicated, so it acts similarly to a poultice in that it will draw out the abscess fluid over the next few days. There are a bunch of ways to wrap up a draining abscess, and one way a lot of you may be familiar with is with duct tape, but vet wrap works perfectly well too. And because the medicated pad will draw out the fluid, we didn't immediately start him on more Epsom salt baths, but we do have a soaking boot at home we can use if we need to. And that concludes Angus's trip to the vet. You can see that he's walking a little easier here, and that's mainly due to getting blockers to his hoof, so he can't actually feel anything in it anymore. But we are expecting in the next few days that his pain in his hoof will continue to go down as the abscess drains. So we're back with Aengus, and he's feeling a lot better. We've got a hoof boot on him to protect that vet wrap from coming off too quickly. But he seems to be feeling a lot better, and he still has Rio here for company. So we're going to continue keeping an eye on it and update you guys on how that goes. But thank you so much for watching this video all the way until the end. That was Angus's way of saying thank you. And please like and subscribe, because it really helps us grow our channel and spread our mission and what we're doing here with the horses. And I will I will see you guys next time with an update. Bye.